So a little bit different analysis here. We're going to have a look at Justin Thomas and how he hits those high, soft bunker shots and some of the things you can do at home that are going to help your bunker game. So if we look firstly at setup. Now you'll see if I bring him right to setup here, is look how that movement of weight towards the left leg. So you're seeing probably 70-80% of weight here on that left leg at setup. You can also see is look how open that face is, wide open, and you can see from the right hand side is how short-sided he is, so he needs that face wide open. You'll also see is if we look at the shaft angle here, is look how that shaft is slightly behind the ball. There's no exaggerated lean. Again, this is going to help just loft the ball up, and you'll notice with the ball position very much forward, almost like a driver off that left heel. And then we've got a subtle amount of spine tilt behind again, which is going to help. But again, we've got that weight forward just to help the strike and get that nice little cushion of sand before and after the ball. Now, if we look from down the line, you'll notice it's more the modern day bunker technique. Is look at all the lines, it's perfectly square to the target. We're not in a position where we see a lot of guys with a lot of open angles, just hitting it very much square. Now, in order to counteract that, because the face is so open, we'd normally see this ball shooting out to the right if we don't sort of counteract it by opening up the stance. But what you'll see a lot of guys do is they just lower the hands ever so slightly, and that just shallows that angle of the shaft here, which kind of neutralizes that open face because it is a wedge. So if you don't like standing open to it, just lower that handle a little bit, and that will also help it just through the sand. So if we look at how he works the club through takeaway, again, you'll see that little bump through towards that right hand side, that left hand side, sorry. And then what we'll see from a lot of great bunker players is they get a lot of wrist set here. So you can see how vertical now that shaft is. Because it's such a small swing, we do need to get a lot of speed in this because we're trying to hit the sand here. So we need a lot of speed because we've got to travel that club through the sand to get the ball out of the bunker. So you notice a lot of wrist set. Let's bring him up to the same position here, and you can really see is on the takeaway is look how outside, and look what else he's doing there. Can you see how he's really sort of rotating that palm, that right palm under the club there? So he's getting a lot of rotation through this right forearm and right hand, because you can see almost, look where the elbow joint is pointing here, and then as he works back, he's gonna get that elbow joint pointing out here, and that palm is really gonna rotate or supinate, as we'd call it in a technical term. And what that does is look how wide open that face is. On a normal swing, you'd see Justin with a face more in this position. Obviously, he had the face open at address, so that's going to contribute, but he's really exaggerating that rollover or supination of that right forearm. And then we'll get up to this position, and you can see, look, a normal position here would be more here with that club face, but you can see how wide open that face is here. And you can also see how he's started to get a very much cupped left wrist. So that really opens the face. It's very different to his normal golf swing. So that's a key thing. Like, the bunkers are going to feel completely different to your normal swing because of that different motion. You'll also see, look how upright that shaft is. We'd normally see in the swing a little bit more shallow here, and then we'll bring it up to the top. Again, very upright. You can see how limited his torso rotation is here. Normally, again, on a full swing, we'd see a lot more rotation of that left shoulder under the chin. And again, there's not a lot of rotation through the hips on this shot, but you can see how upright he is, almost over the toes. And no, Justin has got quite an upright swing, but no way near as upright that he would be in the bunker here. Now, we can't quite see the face here, but I can assure you it is wide open. From here, what I want to note is look at the head movement. I see a lot of amateurs get a lot of back up in the head. But as you can see, look how from the top that head's moving forward through the ball. Most amateurs move that head back when they're in the bunker, the weight falls back, scull it, or they can take too much sand back here, whereas you can see Justin's keeping all that weight forward, moving his chest over towards that left side through the ball. So let's just bring him down. You can see weights moving left, keeping it left, and you can see there, look how that face is still pointing up to the sky. We can see on the right hand side, weight starting to move to the left. You can see, look how wide open that face is there. A little bit more outside the hands there. You know, we'd see in a normal swing that shaft angle be a little bit more here. So you can see how much weight there is on that left hand side. You can see, look how open that face is. He's still pointing it to the sky. And you can see when he comes into impact, he's very much using the bounce of the club, and that club is entering, look, a couple of inches behind the ball there. And you can see how he's not got a lot of shaft lean there. His shaft's pretty much returned to vertical, if not a little bit behind. On the right hand side, again, you can see how open that face is. I'd say he's a little bit across it here. He's probably trying to play a little bit more of a spinner here and just catches it a little bit close to the hosel. But you can see, look how he's entering the sand again, just about an inch or two in front of the ball, and you can see that nice divot out of the sand. We'll clear all those lines off just so I can show you through the ball. Look at that splash of sand, nice and shallow amount of sand, and you can see for reference these balls here how it's perfectly even. About 4 inches is really taking, maybe 5, a couple behind the ball and a couple after. Then if we look on the right hand side again, you can see there's not a load of sand that he's taken there, but just that nice amount there. So he's really, if we look from down the line, you can see, look through the ball and look how much that face is staying open. So you can see again on face on, look how that face is staying really pointed to the sky. And you can see, look how quickly that ball gets up in the air. Just a few frames, you can see how high that ball is there, just because he's opened it up in the backswing and then kept it open in the follow through. Again, this ball's just come out to the right a little bit because he has just come a little bit out and over it. You can see again how much face we're seeing there. On a normal swing, we'd see that face a lot more rotated. And then through the ball, you can also see is because he's almost throwing that right hand more, that right palm's almost facing up towards the sky through the ball to keep that face open. So you can see how that right hand sort of wraps over the club, and you can see, look how that face, again, it's pointing back behind him, whereas on a full swing, it'd be pointing more back towards them trees. What I also want you to note, this is something that I really like and see in a lot of good bunker players, is through the ball, is look how that left knee is really traveling laterally. It really helps get some consistency of strike through the sand when you're employing this technique. And you'll see, because that right palm is just facing up to the sky through the shot, is how much shorter his follow through is. And like I say, he's really moved laterally through that left side just to create that nice angle of attack in the bunker. And you'll see on this one, he doesn't quite catch it, so his hand's a little bit off the club. I think he was probably just trying to nip it a little bit too much, got a little bit too close to the sand, just a little bit close to the hosel there. And I'm not going to say he shanked it, but it's very, very close to it. But you can see those subtle changes that a lot of PGA Tour players do just to create that consistency in the bunker.